Welcome to Cat Jam in the Car. Today I have a very special guest, Jeff Olan. He is a casting director here in Los Angeles. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you. This is so cool and so
I
fun.
know. I haven't seen you for a while,
Yeah,
right?
it's been a long time.
Like
It's been a
that's
long time.
before COVID, right?
Way before COVID.
Way
yeah,
before, a couple
yeah.
years, right?
Way before COVID on one of the sets that we were working on.
Oh yeah, I think it's the one you booked me like on the block on my
Oh, on
blog.
my block.
It's
On
on
my block.
Netflix,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You
On
can
Netflix. Yeah, check it out.
yes, check it out. It's a good show. I
Yeah.
think it's still going on,
And
right?
she's always good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jeff. I thank you for always, cast me in the show you worked on. Jeff is very well known casting director here in LA. How long you been doing casting?
Oh man, long time. So I've been doing casting for over 30 years now. And I don't know if you know this or not, but the first movie that I ever did was Pulp Fiction. That was
Oh,
the first movie that I ever did here, and so
wow.
do whatever you want to do, folks, because you can, just like she is, and I did, and you just got to stick with it.
Wow, that is such a legendary film,
It was
right?
oh, it was so great. I met with Quentin.
Mm-hmm.
I did not really know who he was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He had just done Reservoir Dogs, and I met up with him,
Mm-hmm.
and I sat with him, and he was all like, hey, what's he? And then I kind of just went with it. I rolled with it, and I
Right.
was like, this is so cool. And I started talking with him, and I was asking about his creativity and how he's doing certain things. And I
Right.
guess he liked that I was,
Mm-hmm.
actually getting involved and asking him questions.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, we did Pulp Fiction together. We did Jackie Brown together. I did From Dusk Till Dawn, Four Rooms. And we worked together for 4 or 5 times, and it was absolutely fantastic. He's a
Mm-hmm.
great guy, and as we all know, a phenomenal filmmaker.
Yeah. So, what's the best experience you worked with different films? Like, obviously, you just talked about Quentin Tarantino, right? So, as a casting director, like, do you have like a favorites, or you just treat everyone the same?
I pretty much, treat everyone the same to a certain degree because, I've worked with some of the greatest all-time directors, producers, actors, and starting people off is what I really do. I specialize in the background, the bit parts, the the under fives, stand-ins, precision drivers, all that stuff. But yet I go deeper than that. I cast feature films and I'll do principal players across the board. But the bottom line is, I don't really treat any of them any different than the other because you have to go into it and just know what it's all about and basically bring it home. It doesn't matter what you're doing because each and every project has to be important.
Yeah, I think Jeff, you're so well respected here in the community of Hollywood. Like every time I talk to other actors, they're like, "We love Jeff." I
Oh, that's
swear,
so
like
sweet.
everyone said that because I
Well, I
think,
love them too.
yeah, thank you. I think you are like such a actors casting director. You're like a very kind of personal, and you talk to the actors,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You like, you just, Jeff. I feel like you can work in this industry over 30 years, which means you definitely have good reputation, right?
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Over 40 years.
Over 40 years.
30 years in casting, so 40 years. I came out here as an actor. I came out here as an
Wow.
actor
From
back
where?
from Indiana, and small town in Indiana, Munster, Indiana, and I came out here to do the acting, and I did that for about 10 years. And then I was like, well, because I kind of gave myself a gold cat. I was like, if I'm not some sort of a, household name after about 10 years, now that's a tall order. But I just kind of went with it, and I said, if I wasn't some sort of household name after 10 years, then I would get into something else. I did soap opera work. I did Days of Our Lives. I did Santa Barbara, which is off the air now. I did a show called Capital, which is off the air now. These were all soap operas. I did various roles in movies and television, but I just didn't have enough. So I was like, okay, and the 10-year came about. I was like, okay, I got to do something else, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to get into casting. I did some other things, some other crazy things in between.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people know, I lived on a billboard. I don't know if you know that or not. That was a publicity stunt that I was trying to get, people to see me in town. It was right on Sunset Boulevard over here.
Oh my gosh, tell us about this.
Yeah.
It sounds very interesting.
Okay, so I'm developing the story now, which is fabulous, finally after all this time. But it was something that I did a long time ago, and it was the first reality show without the cameras rolling. It was the first Survivor, and it was like, who could live on the billboard the longest? They took 12 people. They interviewed 400 of us. I was one of the 12. They put me up on the sign, and this was before I got into casting. They put me up on the sign, and it was like basically the meals were all given to us, publicity across the board all around the world, and it was like, who could live up here the longest? And 12 people were up there. A couple of people started falling, because they couldn't handle it. It was like 5 days, 10 days, 3 weeks, 2 months. I ended up staying. And I was one of 4 people that ended up staying up on the billboard because I was not going to leave. Once you put your heart and soul into something, you don't want to, just say bye-bye. So I stayed up there, and I ended up staying up there for 179 days. 179 days. That's 6 months. 6 months on the billboard.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I came down from that, got a bunch of acting jobs, this and that and what have you. And then, years later, I, started the casting company.
Wow, that is Hollywood, guys.
That's Hollywood.
Right? All kinds of crazy things you could do
That's
here,
right,
right?
that's right.
Yeah,
that's
that
right.
is, one day, you said you are developing a project based on the story, right? So by the way, Jeff, there's another thing you guys don't know about Jeff. Jeff also got into producing, right?
Yes, I did.
So I remember last time I spoke to you, you talk about you guys were producing horror film, right?
Yes, correct. And thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, that's it's always great because you transition into different things when you're in the industry. So 23 years ago, I produced my first movie with Mickey Rooney, and it was called Holy Hollywood. And nothing happened with it 23 years ago. And then during the pandemic, I called my partner at the time, and he's also the director of it. And I said, look, Terry, let's recut the film and let's bring it out in 2022 or 2021. Let's bring it back out as a brand new film. And so that's what we did. And so that's Holy Hollywood, the movie, which is streaming now. You could find it. But then since then, I've done some horror movies, mostly horror. And I'm involved with different people. Chad Farron, who's a director of many horror films, I'm involved with him. And we did one that was called The Deep Ones, and that's streaming out there. Then we did another one called Night Caller, and that's streaming out there. Then we did one called Pig Killer with Jake Busey, and Bai is also in that one. And that's working the festival circuit right now. But I've been involved in producing all those, and I've got some others. I'm working on another one right now, and I'm looking for a role for her.
Wow, that sounds very exciting, Jeff. That means a lot because, like you mentioned it earlier, you watch me from this little girl, right?
Yes.
Until now, wow, it's crazy. That's like Hollywood, right?
That is like Hollywood.
You watch people grow up from like little kid. I was not a little kid, but like you said, like this.
She wasn't little, and I was joking.
Yeah.
Kat and I have known each other for quite some time,
like over 12 years.
About 12 years,
yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I've known you since you were this little." You know how you say that.
You mean like kind of adulting, right?
Right.
So it's like you grew up here in Hollywood. It's like sort of you learned a lot. Like earlier we talked about it, how like Jeff mentioned like how I just grew a lot.
Yeah. Matured completely. And when I say mature, I'm not just saying as a person, I'm saying in the industry.
Right.
Because you have to mature in the industry. You cannot stay the same. You have to continue working. You have to get up, get out of that bed, go to work every single day. You have to do something every single day. You have to, just learn something about, whatever it is. Read a book. Go to a movie, look at characters if you want to act. If you want to do something else, as far as behind the scenes, you've got to every day, you've got to do something for your career because you are your own tool. I always say that you are your own tool and you got to keep your tools sharp. And the only way to do that is to do things every single day. And Kat has done that. And as I've watched her grow in the last 12 years or so, I see her constantly on the move, constantly doing things, whether it's comedy or podcast or acting or whatever, just staying in touch. And it's so important. It's so important to stay in touch with people and to get out there and make sure that you are absolutely busy every single day.
Yeah, Jeff, you definitely speak the truth of Hollywood. It's about how people move here. Everyone has a dream, right?
Yeah,
But like I think it's staying consistent and relevant, like don't give up. That's very important as well.
so important.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
for you, right? As a
yeah.
casting director, because I mean, it's not just for actor. I've seen casting director come and go as well,
Mm-hmm.
but you are always there, right?
Yeah,
I think you like you said, you also work so hard, Jeff,
yeah,
and then you have good reputation. Like with everything going on in Hollywood these days, like a cancel culture, not
yeah,
just in
yeah.
the movie industry, in comedy industry, it's like everything has changed so much,
It
right?
has. It has. And you have to, you have to be there. You have to always work. If you want to stay in it, you can't take long, long periods of time and go to the beach, or, especially if you're in California, go to the beach or just take off time. Every day is so important, and you have to constantly work at it. As a casting director, I've been up in the morning at 4:30 a.m. and I haven't gone to sleep until 3:30 a.m. I mean, you have to do it. You have to like really just focus in on what you're doing. But see, producing's the same way, acting can be the same way, being anything in the industry can be the same way. And it's not just in our industry, it's in a lot of industries. You have to focus in on what you want to do. But in the entertainment industry, it really is more about time and timing. If you're not making it when you can, or you're not making it when you get hot and you get hotter and hotter, you have to keep that going. If you don't, you can fall off very quickly or fall down, and then there's somebody right behind you that's coming up and just taking it and going as far as they can. So yeah, it's really important to stay with it and stay hot.
Yeah, because even like I heard this friend told me last week, she said that every single day there are like so many people move to Hollywood,
Oh my God.
like trying to make it. Like
Yeah,
it's just crazy the competition. I think like you said, time and timing, right?
from all over the world. From all over the
Yeah,
world,
it's not
people
just
are
from
coming
states,
here. Yeah,
right?
yeah, not
Yeah.
just from the states. And let's face it. I had a dream when I was a little kid, or the kid from Indiana who came out here. You had a dream.
Right.
Everybody has that dream, and not everybody goes with it. Not everybody says, "Okay, I'm going to get up and go to Hollywood or New York or wherever they believe they can make it." But there are so many that do, and so many people that follow their dreams. They get off a bus, they get out of a car, they get off a boat, they make it to where they want to go and try it. But not many people last long. Most people really, after 2, 3 years, because they're not doing it every day, they don't take it serious. They think they're going to be the only ones that are there. It's not that way, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are trying to get there and trying to make it and trying to find the right thing, trying to find the right recipe. And there is no one recipe. It's just finding the right one and the one that fits you. And the one that fits you will hopefully be the one that somebody else will see and capitalize on it. And then boom,
That's a star.
that's
The
it.
star is born,
The
right?
star is born.
Yeah, because you mentioned about that, reminded me when I was in acting school, there are so many people from different states. Like I remember I had friends from Texas, from Minnesota, and most of them moved back to our hometown already.
Yeah, yeah,
Just like normally gave like 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you said.
they do that, and that's a problem. You have to give yourself a goal, and your goal can't be 2 years, and it can't even be 5 years. That's unrealistic. You have to give yourself at least 10 years. I'm sure everybody has heard the old thing of you're an overnight success story. Well, overnight success takes 10 years. It really does. It takes 10 years. Now, that doesn't mean you might not be able to make a certain, leeway in within 2, 3, 4 years, but that doesn't mean that you're going to make it completely. An overnight success story takes time, and you have to give it that time. And if you don't, then pick something else to go into, because it's going to be very difficult. Kat's been going at it for a long time. I've been going at it for a really long time, but I'm still doing it.
Yeah, we are in Hollywood. We stayed. We are not.
We stayed.
We're not the quitters.
Yeah,
right?
we're not quitters, and you have to keep going. You have to keep going, because every single day you can continue building, whether you're a casting director or a producer or a radio DJ or a billboard sitter or whatever. You have to keep going.
Yeah.
A podcast or a stand-up stand-up comedian, an actress. You got to keep going, and she's going to continue. She's going to be producing. She's going to be doing other things. She's going to be directing. You bet my word, she's going to be doing it all because she is not a quitter. She's a go-getter.
Oh, well, thank you, Jeff. I haven't thought about directing and writing or producing yet, but I think maybe when, just like you said, you never know, right? Yeah. I also feel like lots of people move to Hollywood, they have this kind of misconception. They're like, oh, I'm going to move to Hollywood, I'm going to be famous next year or next month. And then if they didn't, make that come true, they're like, oh, like, I'm just going to go.
Yeah. I'm going to go and I'm going to come back, right? There's a lot of people that do that. They go, they regroup, they try to come back. But unless you really regroup and know what you're coming back for,
right,
you're not going to make it the second time either. You have to definitely put your heart and soul into it. You have to focus into it. You have to have your notes ready. You have to know exactly what you're going to do to a certain degree. Because, a lot of people could... a lot of people can open doors for you, but you're the one who has to walk through and make it happen.
Wow, that is so well said. Exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah, like you said, I've seen some of my friends move back to their hometown and they come back again. And then some people even did it 3 times.
Right.
Yeah, like you said, you have to know what you're doing, right? Kind of sort of like a plan. Like, I think as a good artist these days, with social media and everything kind of changed the industry, like streaming service, like I've seen some actors, they refuse to adapt.
Yes.
Like, but the thing is, it's always changing in Hollywood, right? You gotta adapt.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like the new system, honestly, Jeff. I don't know about you. How do you feel about the new system? I feel like nowadays you can create opportunity for yourself, like in the old ways, right? There's only one way to go.
That's right.
You gotta go to casting, and then if they don't like you, they will not cast you, right?
That's right. That's right.
So,
That's right. So my take on that is, now is the time. Now is truly the time, because years and years ago, like Kat's saying, there was really only one way or 2 ways of doing it. You had to get the great agent, and you had to then, how do you get that agent? It's a catch-22. Unless you were in movies or television shows, you couldn't get the agent, but yet you needed the agent to make things happen. Nowadays, with so much opportunity to put content out there, you could do it yourself. You could shoot movies on small cameras, on even iPhones. People have done it. You have to know, try to learn editing. I say try to learn everything you possibly can about the industry. I wish I did way back in the day, right? Learn everything about it. And it's much easier now to create the content, put the stuff out there. There's so many things streaming. There's so many things going viral. You've got to get yourself, educated now in order to take yourself to that next step. And that's when, producers will see you, directors will see you, agents will see you, agents will pick you up. They'll see you at something you might have done, maybe somewhere you were. Maybe somebody said something about you, and then they check out your social media. Social media is huge now. So just get it out there. There's more opportunities now to have people see you, and also to create your own content. And it's huge. I think it's unbelievable. I mean, it really is unbelievable. And I didn't have that when I started here. I'm trying to catch up. It's taking me some time, though.
But I think that, Jeff, you adapt very well as well, because I know some people, they refuse to adapt the new system. So like for you as a casting director, do you think the streaming service also changed the casting as well compared to like the old school ways?
Yes, it has. It has changed it. And actually nowadays, even with auditions, as you know, not only has the streaming service changed it, the whole COVID and everything's changed things, because now most auditions are on tape.
Yeah, self-tape, right?
Very few people are going into office anymore. And when you go to an office, it's usually you're getting called back the 3rd or 4th time. That's when you're going into the office. But it's a self-tape audition, which, in some cases it's easier because you get a little more time to prep for your audition.
Right.
But also it can be harder for some people, and especially the people that don't know the technology and how to do it all. But I think there's just more opportunities now, Kat, to do it, and you have to adjust, and you have to like you said, just kind of try new things and adapt to it, because if you don't, you're going to be so far left behind, and everybody
Yeah.
else is just going to be taken off to the top.
Yeah, speaking of self-tape, like I heard this agent mention about yesterday, like he said, hey, are you good at self-taping? Right now they want to find the actor who understands
Yes.
the tech. He said most of our commercial auditions these days are self-tape. He said some actor has a hard time to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I kind of enjoy the self-tape
Yeah.
because you don't have to go park your car
Yeah.
and
Drive around
drive
town.
around. Like in LA, I remember I used to have so much pressure going to audition because
Yeah.
you cannot find the parking. You had to park there. It's 10 minutes. And
Right.
when you're like at the audition, you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
the timer is up.
Running
Get
in.
a ticket.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
like everything happened in La La Land.
Yeah, yeah,
It's so
yeah.
true. Like they'll come to tow your car. Like the first year I moved to West Hollywood, I got over 10 parking tickets.
Right.
Couple times it's because of audition.
Yeah, yeah.
Like sometimes I get so anxious when I got audition. I look at the address. I'm like, oh, this street is so hard to find parking. What should I do?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have to get there, so then you park and and you don't look at the signs maybe, or you have to get to that audition, so you're just parking there. Next thing you know, you're getting a ticket when you come out. And then you come out and then you have to run from that audition to another audition.
Yes.
And it's crazy. So yeah, I can understand. But see, the whole thing is, there are certain people now that are not understanding the ring light or the camera or how to actually audition at home, or do they have to have somebody to help them? There's a lot of people that can't do that. So that's why educating yourself on how to do that
Yeah.
is really key, because it's only going to be that and more of that probably in the future.
Yeah, I also feel like one thing about a self-taping I do like is you can take as many takes as you
Yes.
want,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because when you go to the casting director office, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
You're like, I like most actors were very self-conscious when I got out of the audition room. I always like, I should have had to make
should've
different
done that.
choice,
Right.
right? I was like, oh shoot, I should make different choice,
Yeah.
but you cannot go back anymore, right? I used to be driving and start crying. I said, oh, I just bombed this audition. But I think for self-tape, you're like, you take as many takes as you want, but it could be bad as well. Then you will never ever be happy.
No, you never will be. Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's the same way. Like, when I was acting, it was the same way. You
Right.
thought you had completely prepared. You went over the lines in your head or whatever so many times. You walk into the audition, and then you do it, and then you walk on and you go, God, I wish I would have done it this way or that way or this way. You're always
Yeah.
going to beat up on yourself, right?
Right, always you say, I could make this choice, a different choice to play this character,
Yeah.
right? I think actors just so self-conscious, right?
Yeah, well, that's acting, and that's actors.
Yeah.
Every actor believes they can do it so much better after it's done.
Mm-hmm.
But you are right, at least with, doing the self-tape, you can work on it a lot better. You could rehearse it for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever,
Right.
and then get your tape in. One thing that is important is, if you're going to self-tape, and most people do, if you're asked for that self-tape by a casting director, don't put it off too long. We're all waiting for your tape to come in. And I'm just talking about in general. Don't put it off too long. There's some people that say, oh, I'm going to do it later. I'm going to do it later. Don't put it off too long. Do it as quick as you can after you've worked on it in your, house or your apartment or whatever, and then make sure you get it off to them, because, they want to see it. They want to see you. And they want to, they want to check you off the list, and hopefully you get the role.
Also, like another question for you as a casting director, Jeff, because you guys saw so many audition tapes come in, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel like if you sing like hundreds of the audition tapes, it all look the same for you? Like, because you get
No,
yeah.
no, it's not all the same. Everybody has their own little unique quality. There are some that, look, we kind of know within the first, really 30 to 60 seconds, of audition tapes. If I mean, every person is different, and we also look at the person. We don't, delivery, looking at the person, looking, hearing their lines, hearing their voice. There's a lot of different things that go into it for us. But we have to look at them, whether it's 200 of them or if it's 20 of them. We have to look at them.
So you basically you still look through every
We
single
look through every one,
audition tape.
unless the audition tape is, if it's really bad packaging, maybe not going to look at it. And if it's something that we're gonna, look at right away, and it's just from the get-go, it just looks like it's, a 2-year-old put it together. Good chance we're not going to, waste our time on it. It's got to be a professional, it's got to be professionally done.
Okay. Another question for you, Jeff, since you've been doing casting for so many years, and then do you feel like you can tell, like, some actor, they walk in or you saw them performing, you will know this actor stands out, they're gonna be a star? Do you think that is the case, or do you think, it doesn't matter, it all depends on, like, how they're gonna develop later on?
No, there are possibilities. There are people that actually just kind of. I mean, I hate to use the term, but some people just have that it look or that it moment.
Star power, you mean?
Yeah, star power, and you just look at them and you're like, wow, if they're not as good as they are as an actor as the way they kind of look, we can work with certain people.
Right.
And other people will grow into it, like you said, after a while they can grow into it. But then again, you get surprised too. There might be somebody that doesn't look it, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, 6 months later, they're blowing up. So we don't know 100%, although we do have, I do have a bit of a gut feeling. I've seen enough actors and actresses over the
So
years.
you sort of like already have that in your head, right?
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
saw the
already
actors.
have it. And then you can also tell, not only with the audition, if you're talking to somebody like at a personal audition, you can kind of tell with personalities as well, and how the person is and how they're acting or reacting. But there's definitely that opportunity. And look, everybody has it until they don't.
That's so well said.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's so well said.
So just never give up.
Right. And another question for you, Jeff, because sometimes people said some actors are not very good at auditioning, but they are pretty good when they get on set. Do you think that will be the case as well?
That's a tough one, and I say that because I was one of those actors.
You are.
Yeah. I
You don't
stunk at auditioning. I stunk at auditioning. But because I had studied and I knew, I studied and I sharpened my tool, I was a good actor. Anytime I got up on stage, I was a good actor. I can go up and, wow, boom. Okay, everybody, rolling, boom. Okay,
Right.
great. 1 take, 2 takes, great. There are plenty of people that are still very, very scared with the audition technique and the process. But I think Hollywood is unfortunately not going to really change. We're still going to have to see people, unless it's a situation where you're doing your own movie and you're producing your own movie, or a good friend of yours is producing a movie, or somebody who's producing, or a director, and they put you right in without an audition. Otherwise, Hollywood is probably going to be auditioning for a long time to come, because there's so many actors and actresses out there that we want to see what there is out there, instead of just throwing people left and right in a project, and then we don't know for sure 100% if they're going to be able to really do it or not. And we don't have time. We don't have time as a filmmaker. I say that as a producer. We don't have time just to count on a casting director or somebody to just put an actor or actress in. If they can't do it, we're wasting time, we're wasting money, and we have to make sure that they're right for the role and that they can handle the role.
Yeah, so Jeff, you've been working on so many different projects. So are there any of your favorite you have been worked on among all those years?
All the ones I've done with you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Yeah, I do remember last time I saw you came on set. It was a fun one.
Yeah.
And then, those are the really fun one as well.
Yeah, I try to go on set, as you know. I try to go on set wherever I can. But I've worked on a lot of great movies and television shows over the years. And I just completed, as you may or may not know, the Weird Al Yankovic film. And that's out. And Eric Appel, who is the director, he's nominated now for a Directors Guild Award.
Wow.
Which is fabulous. I just did Dead to Me, that was a great one with Christina Applegate, and so many seasons of Grey's Anatomy. That was phenomenal. But I love movies. I mean, I love doing movies,
So you like the
and
movies better than
I,
TVs?
it's yeah. I mean, I just happen to like. I like doing TV as a casting director, but I love movies and going on movie sets, and in this industry, as we all know, anybody who's watching who's in it, you can work in the on any given day. You can work in the past, the present, or the future. Think about that. It's probably the only business in the world where you could work in the past, right? You could work in 1930, in a scene in 1930, or you could work today in 2023, or you could work in the future in 2085. Think about that. That is unbelievable. The only business in the world that I think you can do that in.
That is so well said, Jeff. Until you pointed out, I think that kind of gave us a more like inspiration to work in our industry. It's how lucky we are,
How
right?
lucky are we?
You can live in all those different times.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's a charm to working in the industry and then get to pursue what we love to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like honestly now I look back, I was like, oh, I could never do anything else besides doing what I'm doing right now. I just feel very so lucky. Do you feel so, Jeff?
I feel blessed every day, Kat. I feel blessed. I'm so thankful. I get up every morning and go, my gosh, I'm here, and here I am. I mean, we're in Hollywood, and look, let's face it. The industry now is all over the world, and Hollywood is where the hub was for so long, but now it's all over the world. But Hollywood is still Hollywood, and movies and television is always going to be made here, and Hollywood's going to make a lot of stars. And there's other areas that people are coming up and being able to work all over the country, depending upon where you're at. You could do it. If you can't come to Hollywood for one reason or another, go check out the film commission in your area. Maybe you're in Atlanta. There's a lot of places in Atlanta, or maybe you're in New Orleans, or maybe you're in New Mexico. Lots of studios there that are popping up. New York, Chicago, plenty of stuff. You could get into the movie and TV industry in Chicago, not a problem. Anywhere, Arizona, there's always a place. And if you can't get into the industry without driving 2 or 3 hours to get into something, then take a class. Do something for you in the arts that's going to keep you busy and also propel you to take that next class or the next class, or to, get yourself ready so when you do come out to LA or you do go to New York or Chicago, you'll be more ready.
Yeah, that's so well said as well, Jeff. I remember one time I was in the panel, someone said, some actor who are not in LA, just study, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you come to Hollywood, you're ready,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
so well said. You mentioned about that as well.
Yeah. Try to get ready.
Yeah, try to get ready.
Yeah. It's called a rehearsal. Do as much as you can to get ready, whether it's taking a class, whether it's reading books, reading monologues, learning monologues, just whatever you can do, work in a workshop, make your own little movie, whatever you can do. It's a rehearsal for the big time. And when you get out to Los Angeles, or you get to New York, or you get to Chicago, or you get to any major hub, you are in big time. You have to look at it as big time. You have to take it very serious, getting up every single day, like we said, and applying yourself. And I always say, take at least 2 hours a day. Even if you don't have anything to do the next day, take 2 hours of that day. Take 2 hours a day to work on your craft. No matter what, 2 hours a day will keep you going to work on your craft. Of course, you could take Sunday off.
Yeah, I think that's another thing you mentioned about work on the craft as well, right? Because being an actor these days, people is like, oh yeah, you need to work on your craft. Always studying, always improving, right? Like even for you as casting Jeff, you work so hard to get up like 4:30 in the morning, work until like 3:30 at night, just because you love what you do, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Not every day, but there are days.
Yeah.
And because you have to get things done, or for me, I have it on my mind. And I'm the kind of person, I'll get up if I have something on my mind. I get up and I'll write a note. I'll write a note, or I'll put it into my phone or something, because I don't want to forget about that. And I still sleep okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes I'm a little bit tired, but that's what coffee and everything else is for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Keep you going. And also sleep is important as well. You gotta look good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have to make sure
Coffee.
coffee and sleep. Yes. All right. So this is almost the end of this podcast. I do want to have some fun question to ask
Oh,
you,
okay.
just some fun ones. So Jeff, if you can only eat one type of food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One type of food?
Yeah, just one.
Oh man. Thai food.
That's your favorite,
Yeah, I
right?
like Thai food.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Mine would be sushi.
Sushi. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second for me.
Cool. Yeah. So as a LA, right? I
Yeah.
feel like living LA is so great. We have so many
So
different
much.
kinds of
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
and then it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. If you go to other places, you're like, oh wow, I miss the sushi in LA. I miss like Thai food here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was thinking about. I was like, oh man, there's so many different places. I could have
Mhm.
said pizza or burgers or sushi, but that would have been,
Yeah.
But yeah, Thai food. I like Thai
Authentic
food.
Chinese food here as well,
Great,
not American
great.
Chinese. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So another fun questions, Jeff. What's a deal breaker for your relationship?
For my relationship, what relationship?
Just say like dating somebody.
Oh, if I had a
Or-
relationship.
Yeah,
you
if
mean.
you
Oh,
so say you work so hard, you didn't even have a relationship,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Well, I've had a relationship.
So
I'm not
you
in
marry
one now.
your work,
Yeah,
basically.
I've been married to my work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been married to my work. So I guess that would be it. What's the deal breaker? No. Look, I'm married to my work. I am single right now. But
Single, ready to mingle,
yeah,
Jeff.
yeah, ready to mingle. But I guess look, we all want somebody in our lives who complement our lives and complement us. And so if I have somebody in there, even if she's an actress, if I'm dating an actress, which I've dated actresses, obviously, you don't want that to be the central issue. You want to be able to make sure that you're on the same page about a lot of different things, not just one thing. And so I would say if it was just, if I was dating somebody who was just talking about herself all the time and it was only about herself
Mm-hmm.
and not about, what the two of us could be involved with or the
Mm-hmm.
two of us could grow with, then that would be a deal breaker.
Yeah, basically you want to find someone that complement each other.
That's right.
It's
That's
not
right.
just self-centered,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that the issue? Do you
Yeah.
think of, like when you date lots of actresses?
Yeah, that's
where-
LA. That's LA.
That's LA, right? Yeah. So, but I'm sure you'll find that person.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Well,
like, yeah.
yeah. But you can't be out there and like looking whatever. You get yourself into business and you get yourself into just put yourself more into what you're doing and don't think about it as much. Everything will work out.
Yeah, you can't rush it. Like
Yeah.
this kind of thing happens. What happens, and especially for you as a casting director, you also meet so many people as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah, I mean a lot of people. So I have no complaints. I'm actually very happy, and I feel very blessed every day, and and I get to know a lot of different people out there, and so it's just a matter of connecting with the right people and connecting with the right person.
Yeah, I think everything will come along. It's all just like comedy. It's about timing.
It is comedy.
Right? It's like
Yeah.
it is like timing,
Yes,
right?
it
When
is.
things happen, will happen. Anyway, Jeff, thank you so much for being in my podcast today. Do you have anything to plug?
Kat. I want to plug Kat.
Plug cat.
There you go. Go see her. Go see her in comedy. Listen to her on podcast. Spread the word. This is the greatest podcast I think in the world right now.
Thank you.
Absolutely. No, I just look. I just wish everybody out there who's watching or listening the very, very best. Make it a fabulous 2023. Do what you want to do. Time is precious. Life is precious. And I just want you all to just, be happy, be healthy, be safe, and let's just, live our life, make the best of it.
Wow, Jeff, you have such, bright and positive energy in you.
Thank you.
That's why you're an amazing casting director. That's why people want to work with you. Thank you, Jeff, Olan. Peace.
Thank you, Kat.